The Super Nintendo is one of the most popular video game systems of all time. It's been nearly 25 years since Nintendo launched the Super Nintendo Entertainment System in North America, and since then, the console has carved itself a significant legacy in the world of video gaming. There is no shortage of retro video games that no longer hold up when put under modern scrutiny. But the Super Nintendo has some extremely resilient releases. Want to know about it? Well, stay tuned to the video and watch the video till the end. Hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications to get new updates. Hit the like button to show your support, and in today's video, we are going to discuss the top 10 Super Nintendo games ever. So, without any further ado, let's begin. 10. Donkey Kong Country. An updated take on one of Nintendo's earliest characters, DKC made Donkey Kong the hero, protecting his beloved banana stash against the villainous King K. Rool. For families who like to enjoy the tropical freeze experience via couch co-op, it makes the game less of a brutal slog. Granted, it can make parts of the game, especially the early stages, much too easy. The transition from Wii U to Switch by the original developer, Retro, is seamless. The platforming is accurate and fast. The resolution improves from 720p to 1080p when docked, and the soundtrack is worth the effort of seeking out headphones. It was one of the first games to use pre-rendered models that had been transformed into high-fidelity sprites, which made for an almost claymation aesthetic. That being said, Tropical Freeze can still be challenging as you get deeper into the game, so it doesn't eliminate the difficulty outright. 9. Earthbound. Directed by a respected Japanese writer who had no prior experience in making games, Earthbound is a JRPG that subverts every JRPG convention. For anyone unfamiliar with the game, Earthbound, the second entry in the series, sees you take control of Ness, or whatever you care to name him, as you travel the land searching for 8 melodies to help defeat the universal cosmic destroyer, Gigas. The entire game can't help but ooze a witty and clearly impassioned personality, which makes Earthbound a truly special experience. The setting lampoons Western culture. Certain items and enemies are openly mocked in a fourth-wall breaking fashion for being utterly useless to the plot, and the eclectic soundtrack brazenly samples everything from the Beatles to Chuck Berry to the theme song from Monty Python's Flying Circus. The game's creator, Shigesato Itoi, is already a minor celebrity for voicing the dad in Hayao Miyazaki's animated masterpiece. 8. Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger is a turn-based RPG that was developed by a dream team of creators, whose accolades include establishing 3 Japanese mega franchises: Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, and Dragon Ball. It also has some quality of life improvements like the bookmark feature, though not quite the same as a save state feature obtained from emulation, but close enough. With Chrono as the ever-present leader of the party, you travel through various areas of the game. While in the other world, you can only move to go to various areas and/or residences. In the areas, you will try to find the exit, or the end. The game looks magnificent with characters distinctive and colorful. Enemies are easily distinguishable on screen, making it extremely easy to deal with them in battle. The game was originally released in 1995 for Super Nintendo, and subsequently has been re-released on a variety of other platforms. 7. Final Fantasy VI, released at the time as Final Fantasy III. Final Fantasy VI tells a long, winding story dealing with more than a dozen main characters, but much of its epic length comes from role-playing elements we'd consider unnecessary fat today. When the game was first released for the SNES back in 1994, it was the 3rd Final Fantasy installment to make its way to North America, but the 6th game in the mainline series. You can play FFVI on a number of platforms, including iOS, Android, Wii U, and PlayStation Vita, and other systems like Game Boy Advance and PSP. Role-playing games can be particularly derivative. There are only so many ways to tell a tale of swords and sorcery, but 24 years after its release, Final Fantasy VI's tragic tale of imperial rule, magical espers, and camaraderie still feels fresh. 6. Mega Man X. Mega Man X was a new generation of the character, the time with a partner named Zero, and the storyline cribbed heavily from the sci-fi film Blade Runner. The 3 Mega Man X games on the Super Nintendo are all exceptional, but the first is a fantastic debut for this spin on a classic character. Mega Man X is just endlessly fun to play through. While not as difficult as the previous titles, Mega Man X introduced a ton of gameplay improvements that would become series hallmarks, including dashing, wall jumping, and special weapon charging. Mega Man was always known for its tough-as-nails action platforming, and Mega Man X made it faster and tighter. With the ability to dash and charge your shots, like X himself, it was a huge upgrade that helped make one of the best action games of the era. 5. Super Metroid. Super Metroid is arguably the pinnacle of the Metroid series, and it's also one of the most accessible too on modern-day consoles, given you can play it on the SNES through Nintendo Switch Online. It really does highlight how little is going on narratively in prior Metroid games, against the level of abundance of storytelling going on in this one, and arguably, this title acts as much of a reboot as it does the continuation of a story. This is one of the best 16-bit era games with great gameplay, graphics, and also music too. Super Metroid was released in 1994 and is directly after the events of Metroid 2. Samus is on her way to a research center with a baby Metroid that followed her following the events on the planet SR-388. Samus finds her way back to Zebes, but things have changed since the first game. 4. Star Fox. For Nintendo fans, it can be interesting to see where iconic characters began their legacy, and for the mercenary Fox McCloud and his band of anthropomorphic teammates, that legacy began with Star Fox on the Super Nintendo. Star Fox hasn't aged all that well. Really, the only game in the franchise that has is Star Fox 64. But considering how influential it was, it arguably deserves a spot. You took the cockpit as Fox McCloud, flanked by his 3 squad mates to defeat the evil monkey scientist Andros. It was a simplistic but impressive first look at the potential of 3D games. Star Fox was a visual marvel at the time of its release, and that combined with its solid on-rail shooter gameplay makes it a SNES title that's worth checking out. Besides all that, it's a fun shooter. 3. Super Mario RPG – Legend of the Seven Stars. Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars starts with the typical Mario quest. He has to save Princess Peach from Bowser. Super Mario RPG starts out with the all-too-familiar dispute between Mario and King Bowser, as the green meanie has indeed whisked Princess Toadstool off once more. Unlike most Mario adventures, Bowser is surprisingly nowhere to be found during the game's opening. Understanding how the game works is easy, and the controls on how you make decisions have quite unique from the SNES RPGs. The gameplay style is very simple. You have an attack button, defend button, special abilities button to perform special moves, and an item button. Mario is thusly tasked with recovering all shards in order to restore the road to its former glory and re-establish peace in the Mushroom Kingdom. 2. Super Mario World. Back in the late 80s, pleased with the inordinate amount of success they found on the NES, legendary designer Shigeru Miyamoto and his crew decided it was time to create a new moneymaker. That said, Mario's scaly buddy is also the source of one of Mario's world's few shortcomings. Finding regular power-ups doesn't feel as rewarding as it does in older Yoshi-free Mario games. The first thing you see after loading up your platform of choice and starting a new game of Super Mario World is a plump little Mario in all of his 16-bit glory, flanked with bushes and colorful fruits. Again, though, Mario World is loath to make you do anything. You don't have to trigger the Switch palaces that bridge some gaps and make the game easier. 1. The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. The game starts off with a stormy night, and Zelda and the 7 maidens of Hyrule have been captured by the evil Aghanim. Link goes to save them, and it soon becomes apparent that Ganon is trying to free himself from the Dark World. The sound design is unparalleled, and while it's only MIDI sounds on offer, the arrangements are so intricate, so clean and calculated that they never grow tiresome or stretched. The story is straightforward but sets the stage for a great adventure. The game uses a similar progression system as Metroid in that as Link discovers new items, new areas become accessible on the world map, which continues until the end of the game. One of the key features that A Link to the Past brought to the series was the light and dark world dichotomies. Now that we've come to the end of this video, I want to thank you for sticking with me, and I'd love to know what you think of it. Just comment down below. Also, if you like this video, make sure to like it and stay safe. Today's video is over, but if you want to see more, there's one on your screen right now, and there are a few more fun videos coming soon. I'll see you in the next video.